Stephen Harvey, the only survivor from the sinking ship. He survived because he's the only one who jumped in the lifeboat. After hours, he saw oil tanker come close to him, so he starts screaming and waving his hand and telling he has a dead child between his hands, and they saw him and saved him. And during the investigation, he told them he was a captain for a ship that's called Bobel. He got hired for this ship by Arthur Doppelt, and he says the reason for the ship accident was strong wind hit the ship, and he's the only survivor from this ship. After 4 days, he discovered he's not the only survivor from this ship. There is a child that was 11 years old, still alive, and his reaction was, oh, fine. The same night, he booked apartment in the hotel, and he locks the door and unalive himself. No one knows this about him until the cleaning lady come in the morning to clean his room, and she saw him. This man who did his best to survive, why would he kill himself after he discovered there is another survivor in this ship? Today's story starts with a man who is named David, who was a successful doctor, and his real passion was the ocean. He spent years saving for this goal. In November 61, Arthur was ready to take a holiday for 2 weeks, and he told his wife and his 3 kids to be ready for the holiday. He's gonna move tomorrow from Washington to Miami because the year they were booked were there. Actually, this holiday was part of his dream because he was dreaming for sinking for 2 years or 1 year is almost. Let's see what's happened in those 2 weeks. When they get to Miami, Arthur got his family to the yacht they were booked. The name of the yacht was Bluebell. They weren't planned to spend the 2 weeks on the yacht because the destination was the Bahamas. William Murphy, his passion wasn't only the sinking, he was pilot in World War. After the World War, he decided to leave his job and start sinking in the sea. Dr. Arthur and his wife and 3 children. Brian, who was 3 years old, Terry Jo, 11 years old, Brainy was 7 years old. They boarded the yacht and Joy and Murphy welcomed them. He and his wife, Mary Dean, was responsible for the cleaning and those stuff. And they start their trip. After time, they get to their destination, which is Bahama Island. They get up from the boat and start enjoying the beach there. They spend about a week in this place. Their holiday come close to end, so they borrow the yacht and they sail back home. And during this night, Tilly Jo, which is the youngest child, she fell asleep and she's come back to her room, thinking she's gonna wake up tomorrow and everything gonna be normal. But unfortunately, during the night she heard screaming and steps come close to her, and she heard her little brother screaming for help. She come back to her bed in fear, and after a couple of minutes she bring all her courage and starts moving from her bed to check what's going on. And she start walking and come close to the main point in this ship. It was a chicken and a room in the same time. She saw her mother and her brother in the ground full with their blood, and beside their bodies there was a knife. In a moment, Captain Julian come and tell her to come back to her room, but something told her not to trust him, and she came back to her room and sleep a little bit. And she heard something. It's not a person, but the water come close to her. She noticed the ship was sinking, and she come to upper place and she saw Julian Harvey trying to attach the rope. This rope was tied with a lifeboat. She asked him, is the ship flying? And he said yes. After he untied the rope from the boat, he told her to hold it, but she was shocked and she didn't know this until the boat goes away and he starts swimming faster. She thought he's coming back, but unfortunately after hours he didn't come, and the ship starts sailing and the water covered all the yacht, and she found a float and threw it in the water and jump inside it, and she stay in the same place until the ship sank because she was sure her family is still inside, at least their bodies. And she stay alone in the sea without food and water. The waves start moving here. She tried to lay in this float, but the place was too small, and she stayed awake for hours and her legs in the cold water. In the morning, second day, the cold turned to the heat because of the sunlight and the waves being more strong. The salty ocean water hit her face couple of times. She knew that something eating her legs. They were a fish that the waves taking her away. She started thinking, is she coming close to the land or she's going away? After time, her tongue being drier and drier. Even she stopped feeling hungry and thirsty. To relieve the heat, she sprayed her face. And the second day, she saw a red helicopter flying around her, and she started moving and screaming for help. But unfortunately, the helicopter ignored her. During this night, something happened to her, move her sadness. Couple of dolphins come close to her and started playing with her. And the second day, she wake up and the sun burning her skin. When she wake up, she saw a land close to her. It's looking green from afar. And she start thinking, okay, if I come close to this land, I'm gonna survive. Maybe she will find people. She start throwing with her hand until she come close to the land, and the land immediately disappeared. Everything wasn't real. She was dreaming. And the second day she was too close to the death because her kidneys failed and all her muscles moving hardly. She saw a walls making sound. When she focused on him, she said, that's not a wall, it's actually a big ship coming close to her. And she knew those people woven for her. For her luck, she got survive. And the reason that why they saw her because one of the passenger was looking through the binoculars. She wake up in the hospital on the second day, and they told her she was lost in the ocean for 4 days. A child without food, without water, without anything. After they treat her and she's been well, they start to investigating her. And she told them what happened. She told them how she found out her mom and her brother died. And she told them Julian Harvey led her to die. After he know there is another survivor from this boat, he book apartment in hotel and lock the door and unalive himself. And it's hard to guess why did he do that? Or maybe he was the reason for this crime. It didn't stop there. After the investigation with Terry Joe, everybody know he's the killer. They think he killed his wife for insurance, and one of the family saw that, so he decided to kill all of them. And it's not the first time he doing that. Her first wife died in the same situation. And this is everything about the story. I hope you guys enjoy it.